I noticed my wife dedicating hours to LinkedIn, yet she never discussed her job. One evening, I glanced at her screen and saw her exchanging flirty messages with her ex via DMs. I calmly asked, "Password or divorce?" She stayed silent, locked her phone, and turned away. The next morning, she woke to find my side of the closet cleared out and divorce papers on the kitchen counter. It's odd how your instincts detect trouble before you fully grasp it. For months, I'd noticed my wife, Emily, suddenly engrossed in her career growth. 3, sometimes 4 hours each night, curled up with her phone, browsing LinkedIn. But she never spoke of industry events, job prospects, or professional contacts. I'm James, 41, and I run a firm specializing in restoring historic buildings across the nation. Emily, 39, is a veterinary radiologist at a specialty clinic. We've been married 11 years, child-free by choice, which allowed us to focus on our careers and travel frequently. The first warning sign emerged 6 months ago. Emily began bringing her work tablet home, a new habit. When I asked, she said, "New policy. We need to be on call for urgent case reviews." I didn't question it. Trust had always been solid between us. Then came her LinkedIn fixation. After dinner, she'd retreat to the sofa or our bedroom, endlessly scrolling. When I passed by, she'd tilt her phone away or switch apps quickly. "Just reading veterinary articles," she'd say, brushing it off. The third clue was her new phone password. We'd always shared our codes for convenience, not surveillance. Suddenly, her phone was locked, and she forgot to share the new one. I stayed quiet, rationalizing it in my mind. Maybe she was genuinely focused on her career. Maybe I was overthinking. Until last Tuesday night. I returned early from a client meeting and found Emily in our bedroom. So absorbed in her phone, she didn't hear me come in. Over her shoulder, I glimpsed her screen, not LinkedIn's professional interface, but its messaging section. A man's profile picture stood out. The messages hit me hard. "I miss how you feel in my arms." Emily's reply, "Be patient, I'm sorting things out here. It's messy." His response, 11 years is too long to spend with the wrong guy." I stepped back into the hall, my thoughts racing. I took a deep breath, counted to 10, and entered as if I'd just arrived. "Hey, how's your day?" I asked lightly. She flinched, locking her phone. "Fine, just the usual." "How was your meeting?" "Wrapped early." "What's on your phone?" I nodded toward it. "Just LinkedIn. Work stuff," she said, avoiding my gaze. I sat on the bed, keeping my tone steady. "Emily, I saw the messages." "Who's Michael?" Her face flashed with shock, then denial, then defiance. "You were snooping?" "No. I walked in and saw your screen." "Who's Michael?" She sat up. "An old friend. We're just reconnecting." "I miss how you feel in my arms is reconnecting?" Her eyes narrowed. "You're misinterpreting it. What context makes that okay between a married woman and another man?" "We have a past," she said sharply. "It's not simple." "Not simple how?" "You either honor our marriage or you don't." She crossed her arms. "It's just harmless flirting. People do it." "I don't," I said. "And you shouldn't either." "God, James," she scoffed. "You're blowing this out of proportion. We're just chatting." "Chatting about how he misses your body? About wasting 11 years with the wrong guy?" My voice stayed calm, but my heart raced. "That's not just chatting, Emily. You don't get it." "You're right. I don't get how you could break my trust like this." "Break?" She gave a bitter laugh I'd never heard before. "It's just texts, not cheating." "An emotional affair is still cheating," I said. "And those messages suggest you're planning more than just texts." "You saw a brief exchange," she snapped. "You don't know the whole story." "Then show me. Open your phone. Let me see the truth." Her face hardened. "No way. You have no right to privacy when you're discussing your body with another man and trashing our marriage." "You're overreacting," she said. "Am I? Prove it. Show me there's nothing to worry about." She gripped her phone tightly. "I'm not handing it over because you're paranoid. That's controlling, James." I inhaled deeply. "This isn't control. It's about trust you've shattered. So it's simple, password or divorce. Choose." She stared at me, then locked her phone and turned away. "I'm going to bed. We'll discuss your insecurities tomorrow." That moment clarified everything. I didn't need more messages or a private investigator. Her refusal said it all. I waited until she was asleep, then went to my office. I'd suspected trouble months ago and had already spoken with my attorney to explore options if things worsened. I called him, despite the late hour, and as a longtime client and friend, he understood. We reviewed the situation, and he promised to prepare divorce papers by morning. At 5:30 a.m., I packed essentials from our closet, 2 weeks' worth of clothes, key documents and sentimental items, and loaded them into my car. Then I executed my plan. First, I moved half our joint account funds to a new personal account, a legal precaution in our state, leaving the rest for Emily's immediate needs. Second, I confirmed with my lawyer, who filed the divorce papers electronically at 9 a.m. and had a courier deliver my copy by 8:30. Third, I called my office manager, who starts at 6 a.m., to handle logistics. Emily's health insurance was through my company, and she sometimes used a company vehicle for work. We ensured her insurance would continue until the divorce was finalized, per legal requirements, and adjusted vehicle access per our 30-day policy. Fourth, I notified our property manager I'd be leaving temporarily. The condo, bought before our marriage with funds from a restoration project and maintained with my separate account, was solely mine. I gave Emily 60 days to relocate, double the legal minimum. By 8 a.m., the papers arrived. I left them on the kitchen counter with a note. Emily, your silence was your decision. These are mine. You have 60 days to find a new place. Contact my lawyer for communication. James. I placed my house key and wedding ring on the papers, took a final look at our shared home, and left. At 8:45 a.m., my phone lit up. Emily had found the empty closet and papers. Her messages flooded in. This is crazy. Call me now. You're throwing away 11 years over nothing. You can't evict me. This is my home too. I didn't reply. Instead, I settled into an extended stay hotel I'd booked that morning, set up my workspace, and continued my workday. Emily's next step was predictable. She contacted my parents, sister, and even an old college friend, claiming I'd lost my mind and was making baseless accusations about her friendship with a colleague. I'd anticipated this and sent concise messages to close family. Emily and I are divorcing due to her infidelity. I have proof but want to keep this private. I'm safe and staying elsewhere. I'll share more later. No embellishment, just facts. By evening, Emily's tone shifted to pleading. Can we talk? I'll share my password now. It was a dumb chat, meaningless. Please come home. We can work through this. I stayed silent. Her actions outweighed her words. The next day, a stranger called. Michael. Emily had given him my number. Look, there's a misunderstanding. Emily and I are just old friends. Nothing physical happened. I cut him off. Whatever you and Emily are doesn't concern me anymore. Don't call again. I blocked his number. 3 days later, Emily showed up at my office. My receptionist, aware of the situation, stopped her in the lobby. Emily caused a scene, crying and demanding to see me. Security escorted her out. That night, she emailed me screenshots of their LinkedIn chats, claiming they proved nothing inappropriate, but they were clearly curated recent messages, obvious damage control. What she didn't know. I'd kept logs of our home Wi-Fi connections for routine maintenance. They didn't show message content but recorded timestamps and services. They confirmed hours of LinkedIn activity when she claimed to be working on cases. Her work tablet, supposedly for emergencies, was also active during these times, contradicting her story. A week later, Emily's clinic announced layoffs, including her role. Her timing was awful, jobless and needing a new home. I instructed my lawyer to ensure her health insurance continued via Cobra, with the initial premium covered in our settlement. She tried to play the victim, messaging about how I'd left her penniless at the worst time. I forwarded these to my lawyer without responding. My lawyer warned me Emily's attorney, known for aggressive settlements, demanded half the condo's value, ongoing alimony, and part of my business. We countered with evidence. The condo's deed, bought before marriage with my project earnings. Bank records showing I paid the mortgage from my separate account. And our prenup, which Emily seemed to have forgotten, stating that infidelity, including emotional affairs with intent to leave, limited financial claims. Their demands shrank quickly. After our state's 90-day waiting period, the divorce proceeded. The final settlement was fair. Emily got a one-time payment equal to 6 months of her prior salary, her belongings, and 6 months of health insurance. Her access to company resources ended per policy. The divorce finalized in 6 months, faster than the state's 9 to 12-month average for contested cases. A year later, I've returned to my condo, fully redecorated to erase Emily's presence. Last week, She sent a handwritten letter via my lawyer, expressing regret, bad choices, and a plea for reconciliation. She said she'd always loved me and that Michael was a mistake she'd regret forever. I didn't reply. Some bridges, once burned, stay burned. People ask if I regret acting so swiftly, if I should have tried therapy or forgiveness. My response is consistent. When someone reveals their true self, trust it immediately. Emily showed hers when she locked her phone and turned away. She chose secrecy over honesty, betrayal over loyalty. That night, our marriage ended. I just formalized it. I don't resent Emily or dwell on anger, but I don't regret my choice either. Self-respect requires boundaries. When they're violated, a man doesn't beg or compromise, he moves on and rebuilds. Edit. Thanks for the support and comments. I'll address common questions. Why didn't I check her phone while she slept? I didn't need to. Her refusal to share was proof enough. I'm not here to dissect betrayal, just to acknowledge it. Was the 60-day notice too harsh? No. The condo was mine, bought before marriage with my project funds, maintained solely with my separate account. Legally separate property. I gave her double the required notice, and she had access to half our joint funds. Who was Michael? Her veterinary school classmate. Her what could have been. LinkedIn reconnected them after he viewed her profile. Ironically, he's married with 3 kids and had no intention of leaving them. Emily was just his ego trip. On the router logs legality. As the network administrator, I maintained standard connection logs for troubleshooting, not spying. They showed only timestamps and services, not message content. Did I act too fast? No. I'd consulted my lawyer months earlier when her behavior shifted, preparing for the worst. This wasn't impulsive, it was calculated. Was I too cold? When your spouse has an emotional affair and refuses transparency when confronted, what's the alternative? Pleading? Ignoring it? I chose clarity over prolonged pain. A clean break is often the kindest for both.